Hello and welcome back to another episode of Don't Call Me Skinny. Really excited to be back in the office, studio, whatever I'm in. I don't even know. It's technically just an office. And being back to on track. So if you happen to catch my episode from last week, I literally just ripped it sitting in this little spot in Florida. It was beautiful. It was amazing. It was nice. I want to talk a little bit about the aftermath of a vacation today. So we finished up moving to March before I left on vacation. Had a couple people move into Fat Loss Basics. So I'm really excited to be serving this week. Just getting back to routine. I'm a very routine person. I'm very, talked about this in the podcast last week. I like how I like things. And it can be a blessing and a curse. And we're going to talk a little bit about the aftermath, how I fall, get a little bit more back into routine post vacation. Do I weigh myself? Do I not weigh myself? We're going to have a conversation around how that works and why I think it's important, but also can be very detrimental, if you will, to the process. So it's not going to be a super long episode today. I just wanted to get back in here and have this conversation with y'all. So thank you for joining. If you are new here, welcome. If you are old here, thanks for coming back. And if both of you, whether you're new or you're old, could screenshot, share this on any platform that you listen to or that you're a part of, if you find value here, that is how I get out into the world, into the ethers of everything. And I feel like I'm sounding out of breath. I'm not sure why. But I will say I'd been up for like 38 something kind of hours, and I literally slept for like 12 hours over the night almost. So that felt amazing. But anyways, okay, so let's chat here about how I talked a little bit about last week while I was there, like how I stay on track and why this is important to me and the things that I do on vacation to make sure that I quote unquote don't blow off and don't get too crazy or out of control or whatever language that you like to use here. And this used to be me, is that I used to use vacation as this excuse to just go fucking off the rails, to just fucking eat whatever I want, do whatever I want, all this stuff. That is the reality of how I used to live my life. Unfortunately, that reality caught up to me at 250 pounds. And I had to change the way I live. And I had to learn that vacation, just because we're on vacation, yes, we can enjoy. Yes, we can maybe go a little bit splurgier than we would at home. It doesn't always have to be, because I'm not always on vacation, right? But that also, there has to be some guide rails. There has to be some things that are set in stone so that you're not feeling like a piece of shit when you come home. Because at the end of the day, the majority of us that get on this scale that find our only value and our only worth comes from that little thing are going to be really, really upset when that scales up 5 pounds, when that scales up 10 pounds, when that scales up 15 pounds, when that scales up 4 pounds. And it's like, oh my God, I ruined all the progress. Oh my God, right? The week before I left, I'm still doing Mission 180 and I hit another like low weight. Okay. I had a new low weight and I was really excited and I knew that I was going on vacation. And I also had to, at that moment, prepare myself for the fact of, that's great that you're going on vacation. That's great that you hit a new low weight, but you already know that number isn't going to look like that when you come home. It's just not the reality of it. For the majority of us, I have had clients actually go on vacation and lose weight. That is a reality. It's happened more than once, but for the most part, we're going to retain more water. We've eaten more food. Our bowels, typically our digestion is off. So maybe we haven't pooped as much as we normally do at home. That's definitely me. We either got in an airplane and flew, or we drove for 20 some hours. That's also me. So you're going to be holding on to some weight that, if you will, is, I don't know, a little bit more than what it used to be. So this is just the reality. So I already set up myself up that this is not going to look the same when you come home. Like, already prepare yourself that your weight is not going to look like this when you get back. That's just a reality. It's just prepare yourself. So I think that that's like the first thing you have to do is be honest. Like, unless you're tracking your food, which I typically don't have my clients do, unless you are sticking with your workouts and getting in multiple thousands of steps every day, the likelihood is slim. And even if you do quote unquote everything perfectly, you still have traveling that you have to consider. There is still travel that you have to make sure that you are accounting for. And a lot of people don't understand that you don't necessarily, like, that you have to still retain, or you don't have to retain. Sorry, my internet is being all fucked up right now. I don't know what's going on. This is weird. God. come home and like nothing works, or all my children are on everything now, is probably the actual problem. Anyways, this is still recording, so I don't really care. But so we have to consider and take into consideration and account for the travel part, because even if you do quote unquote everything perfectly, you have to be able to obtain accountability for the travel piece. And typically when you fly, you retain water just due to the elevation. When you travel sitting for so long, you retain water. It's the same concept. It's just, that's just how it is. So understanding these key factors is going to be huge. And so I prepared myself. I knew that this number was not going to be what read on the scale. And I even debated last night not weighing in. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to weigh in tomorrow. I told my husband, I don't think I'm going to weigh in. You know, I just don't think I'm going to. Like, we ordered pizza at like literally 8:00 last night, and I ate pizza late, way later than I normally do. I had a bowel movement in like 2 days. And I actually decided this morning when I went to the bathroom, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to weigh in, because here's what I know. That number doesn't do anything. It doesn't have the control that it used to. And I was like, it doesn't matter what this number is, because it has nothing to do with me. That has nothing to do with, I made, for the most part, there was one night it got a little hairy, but for the most part, made really good choices. Started every day with movement, started every day with a high protein breakfast. No matter what everybody else did, I did my own thing there. I made sure that when we had hot dogs and hamburgers, I had turkey dogs. I made sure that I was trying to get, even when we went out, like the last night that we were there, we went out to this place called Caddy's. I got a chicken sandwich. Yes, I got French fries, but I got a chicken sandwich. Okay. And it doesn't make me better than anybody else that was there, but it's the principle of, I was aware of what the choices that I was making. I was aware of what I was consuming. I was aware of all those things. And in fact, the second to last night that we were there, well, technically it was our last night there too, but we went on this little riverboat tour, and man, we had an early dinner, and I was like, God, I'm hungry. I'm like, I am hungry. We had hamburgers before we left, so we cooked at our little Airbnb for a minute, a few of the days, had tacos one night, had hamburgers and hot dogs and brats one night. So before we left there, we had hamburgers, and I had some turkey dogs left over. I chose those, and I had a hamburger with no bun. I don't even know if I had a hamburger. I don't think I did. I don't even know. Doesn't even matter. Right. But then like later on, we were hungry. Like after we got off this boat tour, cause we had eaten at like 4 PM, and I was like, man, I'm like actually getting hungry. And we went to this little tiki boat bar thing, and it was trash food. And I was like, I hate eating food like this. But the next day, guess what? I woke up with an upset belly. I got these like bacon cheese fries and these little, they were boneless wings, but they were breaded. So it was all fried food. And I woke up the next day and I was like, oh, my belly is definitely like not feeling good today. So I think that, you know, there were moments where I made choices like that, where I knew like, this isn't really in alignment. But again, I don't typically eat boneless wings and bacon cheese fries anytime, let alone at 8 PM at night. You know, that's not my norm. And so I knew that it was going to be okay. I knew that I was going to be just fine. I knew that these aren't choices that I make all the time. And so last night we ordered pizza. I was like, I've been up again 36 hours. I was like, I'm not doing anything. I just want pizza. So we got pizza, and I told my husband, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to weigh in. I'm not going to do it. And he was like, okay, so don't weigh in. Let's just go eat our pizza and just fucking enjoy. And then this morning I just had a change of heart. I just felt like, okay, I can eat some pizza and it's fine. It's like, or I mean, I can weigh in. I can weigh in. Of course I eat pizza. It's fine. I can weigh in and I'm fine. It's fine. Like, it doesn't matter what that says. And I'm only up about 3.5 to 4 pounds. And that was with, you know, no bowel movements for 2 days, eating pizza late at night, being in a car for 30 hours, like 24 hours. Like, that was with all that into consideration. So here's what I know. The weight that I'm at right now is not going to be what it is tomorrow. And probably in the next 2 days, 3 days, I'll be damn near close to where I was. It may not be perfect. It may take me a week or so to get back, or maybe even 2 weeks to get back there. I don't actually know. But what I know is that the scale doesn't get to dictate the fact that I got up and moved my body every day. I made an effort in the majority of my food. I, enjoyed life. I was able to live and didn't feel bound by some crazy diet that I had to stick to. I wore a bikini the first day to the fucking water, even though I didn't go in the water. I still had a bikini top on with a pair of shorts and whatever else, right? These are all things that scale doesn't get to control. That scale doesn't get to dictate. We took the kids to this Grand Prix where it's like indoor go-kart racing essentially. And these things go like the gazillion miles a fucking minute. Like they can reach up to like 50 miles an hour, but I don't think you can actually on their track because I don't think it's straight enough to do that. But anyways, so you have to wear helmets, you have to wear all these things. Like there was one time I got into this seat and you couldn't adjust the belt buckle. I was like, oh my God. Like, I hope this fits because I can't, right? Being able to sit in those vehicles and do that with my kids and not have to worry about, am I going to fit in a seat? Can this belt get buckled? Am I too heavy, right? There was a weight limit because obviously they can only hold so much weight, right? Like there's all these things that people don't take into consideration when they're not doing the things that they need to do to get healthy. I don't ever anymore, 9 years ago, change the fact that I never want my weight to hold me back from doing the things that I want to do with my kids. And I could have seen easily that being one of the things that honestly, I was like, maybe I shouldn't do it. I'm not going to get in like 9 years ago. Like, oh, I'm probably not going to fit. Like that's all that would have, it literally would have just consumed the shit out of me. Am I going to be able to fit in those seats? Am I going to be able to buckle it? And if I can't, can I adjust the buckle? Like it didn't matter because I didn't have to worry about it. Right? That's the reality of where I used to be versus where I'm at now. It's not the same. And it's a different feeling when you never have to worry about that because it doesn't consume your fucking life. It doesn't overtake all the fun that you're supposed to be having. And I talk to women all of the time who are consumed by this or that or this or that or all these things. And it's like, God, I feel bad, like not as in like, oh, but like I genuinely can relate to how you're feeling. I genuinely understand being scared to do things or not wanting to do things or lying and saying that, I'm going to wear a sweatshirt and it's 97 fucking degrees outside just because you don't want to show your body because you're embarrassed by how fat you are. Like that used to be my life. I used to wear 2 double the t-shirts. I used to wear 2 suits. I used to do all sorts of stuff. That's just wild because I was so embarrassed about who I was, about how my body was. And it literally consumed everything, every thought, every second and moment. And I missed out on so much because I let it all overtake everything in my life. Or I would come back from a vacation like this, get on the scale and be like, oh, I fucked it all up. Oh my God. And then I'd starve myself again or cut out all the carbs or go exercise for 100 hours or whatever the case is to punish myself for being naughty and bad on my vacation, right? It's relatable. Some of you are probably thinking, yep, that's me. Oh, I did that last week. I get it. I understand it because I used to be it. I know what it's like. So I encourage you, if you are coming back from a vacation, if you are coming back from feeling this way and you choose to get on the scale, there's no right or wrong. You're not required. I didn't have to get on the scale. I could have waited 2 days before I got on the scale. Just got back into my normal routine and I did. I had my protein yogurt. We had no fruit. So it's just some protein yogurt and granola, but that's what I had for breakfast. Done and done. It's that simple, right? You just get right back into it. You just hop right back on the horse, get right back on the wagon. You just get back up again. It's like, that's because the things that I have done now, they're just habitual. It's not something that I have to think about doing. It's just something that I do. I always say this phrase. It's not about me choosing to go do the thing. It's just this, it's not something I have to do. It's just part of who I am, right? If that makes sense. Like it's just in me. It's just who I am. It's not something that I do. So, that's where you have to get to a place of that so that you can do that. So you can get on the scale and understand it's just a scale. And what are the other multiple reasons that your weight might have spiked? Did you eat like an asshole? I don't know, maybe. I mean, there were a couple days that and for me, it wasn't even the food, it was the alcohol, right? So for me, it wasn't even the drink, the food part, it was the drinks part, right? I'm sitting here, I'm recording this at 1:42 on Sunday afternoon going, well, this is weird. Typically I'm like 2 drinks in at this point, but hey, we're not on vacation anymore. So that's not super appropriate, Sarah. Right. So it's like understanding that point, like, yeah, okay. So I didn't always make the best choices and that's okay. Did I sometimes drink too much? Sure. Did I sometimes eat things that don't align with my goals? Absolutely. Okay. So what do I do now? Because I'll tell you what, being pissed off at myself or whatever, I was fully aware of what I was doing. So I knew it was going to happen, but like, being pissed off and guilting and making myself feel bad about it now isn't going to change anything of my other choices. I can't go back and change anything. What I can do now, though, is just get right back to it. I can literally get back on the horse. And that's all you do. There is no special trick. There is no like pill that you can take. Nothing. You start again. You just keep going. And that's why this is a forever journey. So this is why I do weigh or don't weigh. If you choose not to weigh, that's okay. You don't have to weigh. I would wait probably 2 days. So we came back on Saturday. So if I didn't choose to weigh today, I probably wouldn't have waited until Tuesday. So that's just to give my body time to drop some water, retention, maybe poop, and just get back into my normal routine of life. And that's the reality. And that's it. And there's no wrong answer. You're not required to weigh in. And in fact, I typically tell my clients, if you don't want to weigh in, it's okay. Wait 2 to 3 days from traveling. It's totally fine and normal. Nothing wrong with it. So that's that. Do you weigh? Do you not weigh? I'm kind of curious to hear what your thoughts are. What do you typically do? And how effective is it for you? Are you able to detach yourself from it? Or are you able to, or do you just let it consume everything and then you like whoosh, go to the extreme? Because that's not helpful, right? And if that's something that you are struggling with, hey, Fat Loss Basics, love to have you in there. Okay. All right, you guys, I hope you have an amazing rest of your Monday. I think Wednesday is an interview with my good friend, Philip Pape. He's amazing. So if you don't listen to this one all the way, but you got to hear, but you better come back Wednesday because it's going to be an incredible, incredible episode. So I hope you guys have an amazing Monday. I will catch you on the next episode.